Jaxon Smith-Njigba running a 40 time. That's ultra impressive. Stock is going up. This guy could be a top 10 overall pick on draft day. He's looking more and more like a good fit for a lot of teams. Mecole Hardman signing with the New York Jets. What's this mean? What's this mean? Let's get into it right now. Emergency live stream time. File on in. Hit that thumb up button. Let's go.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Smitty. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show, and we are here to talk about Jaxon Smith-Njigba. We're here to talk about Mecole Hardman. We're here to talk about a few things, and we're here to take your phone calls. This is an emergency live stream. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate you. I work for you. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, this report right here from Ian Rappaport, Ohio State. First round projected wide receiver Jaxon Smith-Njigba recently ran a 40 at his pro day, and according to the watches and several scouts, the range was in the 4.48, 4.52. That is ultra impressive, and that puts him in a much better spot than he was, because he was considered to be maybe just a amazing route runner. When I say amazing, I mean amazing route runner. Fantastic route runner. So quick, so agile, such a pristine, well-oiled machine when it comes to running a route and running all the routes, frankly. And so speed was his real knock. He doesn't have top-end speed. He can't be a guy that's going to stretch the field as much as you'd like. He's going to be more of a precision guy and a possession guy and a route running monster. But now, this guy's been working on his speed. 4.48 to 4.52 40 is a fast 40. And that puts him in the potential top 10, top 12 overall. Now, 40 times shouldn't dictate everything, right? But when you are adding it to a platter of amazingness, a buffet of awesome skill sets already, it makes him that much more entertaining to draft at that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Look, the Bears have the number 9 pick in the NFL draft. The Bears have an opportunity to pair one of the better wide receivers from this draft class with Justin Fields, and I think they're going to consider it. We don't know if they're actually going to take him. I've heard rumors of Tennessee, which would be awful. That would be an awful landing spot for him. I've heard rumors of New England. I've heard rumors of different landing spots like Chargers. There's all kinds of smoke everywhere. My favorite spot for him long term is Houston, because he'll be paired with either Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, or CJ Stroud. So Houston's a fantastic spot at 12. The Bears are a fantastic spot at 9. And JSN's value just got extremely kicked into high gear. And people are going to start wishing they had... What am I doing with my screens here? They're going to be wishing they had this guy, I think, at the end of the day. Teams that pass on him at 9, teams that pass on him at 12. So if the Bears and the Texans pass on him, they're going to regret it, because this is a very, very amazing route running player. And while I don't think this class comes close to the 2022 class, let's show the Moon Men, because a lot of the 2022 wide receivers from that class are on the Moon Men.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
London, Watson, Olave, Pickens, Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson especially. This is an elite group of wide receivers, and this current class doesn't hold a candle to it. However, that doesn't mean that one, maybe two, but one could be top 8 to 12, top 7 to 12 capable. Just because this class, the 2023 rookie wide receiver class, doesn't hold a candle to the 2022, doesn't mean there's not one absolute monster in this class. It could be JSN. It could be Flowers. I like Flowers a lot, but Flowers does have some limitations. He's smaller. He needs to go to an elite location. If he does, Zay Flowers could be the number 1 wide receiver from this 2023 rookie running back class. Understand what I'm saying? But he's a little more high risk. This guy JSN's a little more low risk. He's a little more sure. and he's probably more likely to go to a better location. Why? Because draft capital is so crucial to finding a good home. Most teams will not spend top 10, top 12 draft capital on a player they don't need. That's why I think Tennessee is a horrible spot. However, teams make dumb decisions all the time. Sometimes teams bring in a non-logical situation into the fold, and Jaxon Smith-Njigba is not a good fit in Tennessee because they don't have they might think he is, but it's a horrible spot. It would be a spot where he would go and potentially be held back extremely bad. Especially because we've seen Burks not develop there, and Burks had potential. Burks had about as much potential as Addison feels like he has, and Burks just completely vanished because it's a bad location. Not to mention there's been a lot of knocks on Burks, and maybe Burks won't work out anyway. And I'm not saying Jordan Addison can't be amazing. Don't take what I said there and try and twist it. Addison could be a monster, but just keep in mind, Burks was as high of a prospect coming out of college as Addison. And Tennessee was a black hole of a situation that consumed him, and we haven't seen Burke since. I don't want Jaxon Smith-Njigba going to Tennessee, but like I was trying to say before I sidetrack myself, situation matters and draft capital matters. All of it matters, and if you go early, the earlier you go, the more likely you're going to a team that has a dire need for a wide receiver one that actually feels they can use him. So Tennessee could screw this up, draft him, and not be able to utilize him properly. Or he could go early, and if he goes early, he's going to maybe Houston, he's going maybe to Chicago. Now, if he goes to New England, I like it if New England then preemptively does that and then goes after Lamar Jackson. Then I love Jaxon Smith-Njigba in New England if Bill Belichick's smart enough to go after Lamar after the draft, using his 2024 and 2025 first rounders in that relinquishing of draft picks in that offer sheet that gets signed by Lamar if New England did offer it. But I will, on the flip side, say that if Jaxon Smith-Njigba goes to the New England Patriots at 14 and Mac Jones remains the plan, it's a disaster waiting to happen. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Wrong screen, Smitty. Let's open the phone lines real quick. Oh, as for Mecole Hardman to the Jets, it's a good move. I mean, it's a good move. Do I think he's going to be an absolute fantasy monster? No. Do I think he's going to add some dynamic upside to this offense that already has great wide receivers? Yeah. Some speed can't hurt. I like this move. We got another piece of news here that Russell Wilson had arthroscopic knee surgery following 2022, a procedure to fix an issue that had nagged him for a few seasons. That's good news. Maybe there's some reason why he played bad, but I think, Sean Payton can turn him around if anybody can, but I'm still a little hesitant to believe in Russell Wilson. I find myself late in a draft, like looking at Russell Wilson going, this is a late, nice value grab, right? But how come I can't pull the trigger? I just don't trust him yet. And then there's talk about moving his wide receivers, bringing new wide receivers in, more change for him. I don't know. I believe in Sean Payton. I believe Sean Payton can fix it and right the ship, but part of me is a little worried about this change and everything for Russ. So I feel like this is good. Okay, so let's get into the phone lines. Dial in. The phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
We'll briefly speak on these two topics or anything else you have. JSN running a extremely fast 40 time. Again, there's a 4.48 to 4.52 flat 40. That's good. That's really good. Okay, dial on in. Burks, put some respect on Burks. Burks did okay at the end of the year, sure, but is he set up very properly? Is he in a great situation? No. So I still don't like Burks right now moving forward. Am I open-minded to him having a change of situation? Like if Lamar lands in Tennessee, Burks' value goes up. I don't like Lamar in Tennessee. I think that's not a good spot. But Burks has some stuff to prove before we start counting on him as an elite wide receiver 3 in fantasy. Could he be a wide receiver 3 in fantasy? Sure. Smitty, Sean Tucker didn't participate in the Combine or Syracuse Pro Day. Not looking good. Bro, where have you been, Jake? He had an amazing Pro Day. He released all of his footage out there. Bro looked fantastic. His field workout submission was unbelievable. It did suck he wasn't there for the Syracuse, or the, technically speaking, he had his own pro day. He had his own pro day, Jake. And he did so good that people are talking about it. Okay, so I get what you're saying. Not being at the Combine's concerning. What's the medical condition that kept him from actually participating in the legit one? We'll find out. But all I know is his submitted film that was done with all the equipment. He listed everything. He had obviously some professional people taking care of the measurements and the times and the clocks and all that. He did phenomenal, bro. He did phenomenal. So I'm not worried at all. Sean Tucker impressed enough people, I think, to get back on the map, bro. Love Sean Tucker. It is looking good, Jake. It is looking good.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Not you, Jake. That take's been Smitty approved. Just approved my own take. Sean Tucker to the moon.
To the moon.
Christian Silva dropping a super chat. What's Hopkins' most likely landing spot? It was going to be Chicago. It was going to be all these locations that keep kind of getting eliminated. New England's still a possibility. I mean, Chicago's still a possibility. We went over them all the other day. There's a video on it. I mean, Buffalo would be smart to go get him, but they're probably not gonna. The Ravens, if they keep Lamar, that's a spot you could see Hopkins go to. The Browns we kicked around as in terms of maybe reviving the value of Watson. Swaggy being negative as usual. Swaggy, come on, bro. 4.5 is not fast. This is 4.48 is an extremely fast 40 time for Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Not everybody runs a 4.3, but for Jaxon Smith-Njigba, this is a phenomenal time, Swaggy.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
Negative Swaggy back in the building. You know, just waiting to pounce on something he disagrees with, which is fine. Swaggy, you know, we keep you around for a reason. But it's definitely par for the course for Swaggy these days. Seattle at number 20 says Mel Kiper for JSN. JSN's not lasting to 20. I don't think he lasts to 20. It's possible. I don't think he does. I think he's a top 14 overall pick now. This is a very, very solid time, 4.48. Very solid time, regardless of what Swaggy says. It's a Smitty approved time.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Wait, why is my name green now? I think you were gifted a membership by either Terry or who gifted him yesterday? East Coast Tatty and Terry, probably East Coast Tatty. East Coast Tatty and Terry gifted out several memberships yesterday, and you got one, bro. You got one. Ben, appreciate you being here. JSN top 12 lock. I kind of agree, bro. 40 time isn't really important for wide receivers, says Hod. It is and it isn't. I mean, it is and it isn't. It's a bonus. It's obviously, if you're a speedy guy, it opens up some more doors and avenues for you skill set wise. So for JSN to have this now in his arsenal, that he's not just a slow, route running wide receiver. He's a guy that actually can burn a little bit. Like 4.48 is low end burner. Anything in the 4.4 is you're considered a wide receiver that in many cases won't be tracked down. Now, in college, it might have been a little different. The guy's clearly worked on his speed. He's clearly worked and grown and gotten better. And when you're as young as these kids, 20, 21, you can actually improve. You can get stronger, faster, more athletic. And so it's not a shock that he's becoming more athletic as we speak. We can literally say that you can grow an inch at 20, 21 years old. I grew an inch and a half at 20 at 19 to 20 years of age. In between there, I grew an inch and a half. Jaxon Smith-Njigba was not a burner in college. Jaxon Smith-Njigba was tracked down a lot in college and taken down. It was one of his negatives and one of his knocks that this guy's going to be potentially chased down by defenders at the next level. When you run a 4-4, anywhere in the 4-4s,
Motion detected at the front door.
guess what? No longer are you is a player that's considered to be a guaranteed lock to get tracked down. There's some burner in there. And don't count him out for getting faster. Thank you for joining me. This is just a quick live stream, a quick emergency live stream. I'll see you all later.